Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another transfer news show for you guys. We've got lots to get into as well today, guys. We are going to be talking about the announcement of Tosin today. We've got a video to watch there. We've got talks in regards to the PSR limits that Chelsea was supposedly breaking. We'll be talking about that as well. We've got the main talk of the topic, which is Julian Alvarez to Chelsea. This is a bit of a bombshell. Where has that come from? We've got that to get into. We've got stats. We've got everything to look into in regards to him. Does he suit Chelsea? Does he suit the profile? Is this concrete? Who's leading it? Who's leading this? Lots and lots and lots and lots to get into. Smash the like, subscribe if you're new, guys. And let's cue the intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for this end of week transfer news show. So some stuff's starting to heat up. Things are starting to spice up, it seems like, in this market for Chelsea. And we're going to be talking about everything in regards to news around this football club and the recent links in around the potentials of Chelsea putting in a bid for Alvarez. Alvarez from Man City, guys. Lots and lots and lots to get into. How are we all doing in the chat? Hope you're all well. Leo, how are you? Good to see you. Sezagan, welcome. Pink, welcome. Tosin looks promising. Afternoon, Wazza. How are we doing? Good to see you. Pink Sheep. Guys, come and say hello. Come and smash the likes as well. If you ain't smashing the likes, get the likes up, guys. Get the likes up. There's lots and lots and lots for us to get into as well. Is Chalobah way out? We're still waiting to see. We have got one defender in, one that we're going to be talking about very, very shortly. Kelvin, how good to see you as well. Guys, nearly 80 people in the building right now. 100 people in the building. Let's get into it. I want to get into the fit of it. We've still got the panel to join us as well. Get your comments in the chat. Hey, yes, how we doing, Hirobo? Welcome. Hey, welcome back, No, Shalina. How are you? Wazza, what are you saying? You good? What are you saying, Wazza? Afternoon, as always. Good to see you all, guys. Over 100 people here already. Keep hitting the likes. Keep hitting the likes. Get the likes up. We are lots in. Nomadic's in the building as well. What we saying, Nomadic? Good to see you as always, darling. Do you think we might get Alvarez? Well, this is what we're going to talk about. Ed Kid, how are you, bro? Good to see you as well. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, guys, over 100 people in the building across all platforms. Let's start getting into some of the stuff that we need to get into. And we're going to start with, what are we going to start with? We're going to start with the PSR rules, the PSR mentions from Ormstein. And it was quite interesting because this was referring to the submissions that failed. And we're going to look into it now. The Premier League fails in bid to close loophole, letting clubs use profits from sales of hotels, transfer grounds, and other tangible assets in FFP submissions. Proposal at AGM fell short of 2 out of 3 majority needed votes, 11 out of 20. So that goes to show, people talk about everyone was annoyed with Chelsea. They're selling assets. No, how are they doing that? They shouldn't be able to do that. Oh, they're allowed to do that as a part of the FFP. They are allowed to sell hotels and assets, to make profits. Oh, I didn't know that. What? And you can offset it against the book as well of incomes of what you spend on players, of what you let. Yeah, of course. Oh, and then it goes into a meeting with everyone, and they all sit there, and 2 out of 3 of the majority is what it came to, not 3 out of 3. Which is what they needed. 11 out of 20 people voted for, and it fell on its ass. It fell on its ass. So, it is what it is. We laugh. We find it funny. We're going to look at the stuff. Premier League fails with the attempt. We're going to read it quickly now. All attempts by the Premier League to close a loophole that lets clubs use one-off profits from a sale of hotels, training grounds, or other tangible assets in their financial fair play submissions has failed. Failed. Rivals hold it. The league made the proposal at its annual general meeting in Harrogate, North Yorkshire on Thursday, but only 11 of the 20 clubs backed it. Only 11 of the 20 clubs backed the fact of removing it. 11, even though there's more in terms of the majority, it's just over half of the clubs. That only equivalates to 2 out of 3 votes, which is not enough to overturn it. And that's the problem. Significantly short of the 2/3 majority required for the change in English top flight's profitability and sustaining rules. You are joking. You are joking. I've already got an account, mate. I've already got an account, mate. Let me log into this one. Yeah. Not now, mate. Trying to read. The English, the English league stopped its clubs from using artificial windfalls. Was that where we were? Yeah. The English Football League is stopped its club from using artificial windfalls profits on property sales in 2021 after half a dozen of clubs had sold their stadiums or training grounds to themselves in order to avoid breaching the PSR limit rules. Basically, it was done before. It's been done over across it. Not, you know what I mean? It's been done across the blooming platform. It's not just Chelsea that have been doing this. English Football League stopped its clubs from using artificial windfall, so it was being done in periods before, which is quite interesting. The Premier League considers taking the same action, but its clubs did not feel strongly enough about it at the time for the league to put it to a vote. That changed, however, the season when Chelsea avoided breaching the PSR limit by selling 2 hotels and car parks at Stamford Bridge to a sister company for 76.5 million, which is $98 million. That was enough to turn a 166.4 million loss in 22-23 into an 89.9 million deficit for the club. Listen, like it or not, I keep saying this to people. The owners might not have the greatest sporting background, but they are businessmen. They will have legal teams on all of these things. They would have found these loopholes and they will take action on them because they know that they're abiding by the rules. And people think we're doing dodgy things. We're not. We're actually just bending the book to make it work for us and using the loopholes. So what? Not our fault that our owners are being quite smart about it. And you've got to say they've been quite smart about the situation. I don't care what people say. Widespread angers about the transaction has forced the Premier League to look at its rulebook again, with the results being the proposal to copy the EFL's prohibition on using windfalls in PSR calculations. The amendment failed, however, because several clubs thought the wording of the ban was too wide. According to people with knowledge of the proposal, it did not clearly distinguish between the type of non-football revenues that clubs believe they should be encouraged to exploit, such as building hotels, houses, or indoor arenas, accountancy tricks of selling existing properties to yourself. It is therefore almost certain that the Premier League will try to tighten up its proposal and bring it back to the clubs, as it's believed it needs more tools to effectively regulate the clubs to ensure the sustainability and fair competition. But this was not the only vote that lost on Thursday, as it's also failed with the amendment to make it an obligation that the clubs self-report breaches of the league financial rules. Rules on self-reporting are relatively common in membership associations like the Premier League, but with trust in the league competence as a regulator at a record low, it perhaps is not a surprise that with these measures it was not approved. There you go. Clearly proposed with the recent action taken by Man City on the associated party transaction rules in mind, the league will have to go away and think if this is a rule worth fighting for. Basically, they've got to think about the rules that are laid and if it's worth fighting for the rules and trying to make him a bit strict or not. Because at the moment, clubs ain't pulling to it. That's the bill and end all, cutting it short for you guys, rather than like going into the technical side of it, you know. So, you know, it is what it is. Just spin on it. Big up, Anderson. What you saying? Guys, welcome. Jack, good to see you. Talking about Alvarez. We're going to talk about Alvarez in a second, guys. Nearly 160 people in the building. Smash the likes, guys. Keep running up. Run up the likes. Let's keep going. Now we're going to move on to these comments that we got from the Athletic in regards to the owners and PSR and Chelsea being within it. So the Athletic have said Chelsea avoid breaching the PSR limits by selling 2 hotels, which we know all that as well. This was enough. Widespread anger about the transactions forced the Premier League to look at the rulebook again, with results being the proposal to copy the EFL's prohibition on using such windfalls. The amendment failed, however, because several clubs thought the wording of the ban was too wide. Well, it just wasn't strict enough. They just couldn't get around it, you know. And then we had the most recent article from Sky Sports, which come out today as well. which goes on to say Chelsea will not need to sell any players this month to comply with the Premier League profitability and sustainability rules, but will need to before next year's deadline. Well, yeah, obviously that's normal. We're talking about the now, not the future. We don't know what we're going to be doing with where we were going to be or what we were done from that period. So none of that's a shock. Sky Sports has previously reported that Chelsea were among some of the Premier League clubs who may need to sell players before the 30th deadline, but Chelsea insists this is not the case. Sky Sports understands Chelsea will need to make sales to keep in line with the PSR for 24-25, and the cut-off for that is next summer. But they are under no pressure to sell this month. So that whole thing of Chelsea, you've got to sell before the 30th of June. Oh no, Gallagher, Chalobah, all of you going to go. We've got to get rid of so many players. We're in trouble. This is what the rivals are saying. How have they spent £1 billion? Surely there's nothing. It's not right. Surely they've broke some rules. Incidentally, of course they haven't followed the PSR rules. They must have massive, high losses that they need to recoup, which fall out of the profitability margins and all this. But guess what? It's not happening, mate. Chelsea, meanwhile, have also confirmed the signing of Tosin from Fulham. Yeah, that's all confirmed. We know that. And that's where we're going to go to next, because enough of this PSR stuff. I want to start talking to you about transfer news and the transfers that we know of right now. And we are going to start, guys, with Tosin. 11 minutes in, hit the likes. If we haven't hit the likes, guys, get the likes up. Run it up. We should be on a lot more likes than what we are right now. So please, if you can, get these likes up. Please, Tosin. He's a blue. There he is, guys. There he is. Tosin is a blue. And you know what? I watched the video, and we're going to watch the video because we're allowed to watch things on YouTube. So we're going to watch the video of Tosin and his introduction to Chelsea. I want people to see this, and then we're going to talk about other bits as well. So let's go. Let's get into it. I'm going to mute myself.
She heard the news about Chelsea. She was gassed. She was gassed, yeah. Let me get it here. Yeah. So if you just start down here for us. Sorry, down here. Yeah. Tosin, you give us a quick 1-2 just for the mic.
Yep. 1-2.
Happy down? Yeah, all good.
Nice big smile. That's right. Brilliant. Come down already to the league.
Oh gosh, that's a long way down. I am a ball-playing, aggressive centre-back that likes to lead the team in a positive manner and win as many games as possible.
Would you say you're a bit of a leader out there as well? What do you like in changing room?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a leader. I like to get on with all the boys, push them as hard as we can, and get the results.
And if you were to compare yourself to previous players, who would you compare yourself to?
So I'd say I take aspects of their game into mine, like John Terry's leadership, how aggressive he is, and Christensen, for example, how well he can play on the ball. So players like that I like to take bits from.
Growing up, who do you remember watching on TV who influenced you, inspired you to be a footballer?
There's a lot of players, I'd say Ronaldo, Zidane, Lampard, Drogba. They were inspirational players and players that did crazy things for this football club and for football in general.
What was it about them that you just loved? Was it just their aura or their...
Aura for sure. They're big moment players. They always step up and perform on the big stage, which is what I'm here to do. Ready?
Take a stand on the spot there. That's cool. Right, you can do whatever you want.
You tell me.
Everybody your personality.
Feels like a full circle moment because I started my professional career here. That's where I made my debut, so it's a full circle moment.
Were you born in London or Manchester?
London.
London.
3 miles away from Stamford Bridge.
Only 3 miles away?
St. Mary's Hospital.
Nice. Just looking at the camera again while you're doing that. That's it. You got
plans received?
Chilled.
Just chill.
Yeah. You?
Anything.
Good answer.
Just looking at some of these pictures here, what do you think the rich history of success for Chelsea have had being part of that now?
It's amazing, to be honest. You can see the big trophies that they've won. yeah, big moments. You can see the 2015 Premier League, the 2012 Champions League. I remember watching that on TV and thinking, wow, that's where I want to be. That's what I want to achieve. So to be here now, striving for that's what it's all about.
What's the big dream for you? Would you say like winning the FA Cup or the Champions League or Premier League? What's like a trophy that always stuck out in your mind when you were young? That
Champions League's always been there. It's always been the one. That's the one that I'm striving for. That's the one this club's going to be striving for. So that's what we have to push for.
So this is obviously a gym. Are you someone who spends a lot of time in the gym, or you rather have the ball at your feet out there?
I'm both. I love the ball at my feet. I'll be on the pitch, but also it's very important to be in the gym. So I'm going to take full use of these facilities and I'm being here a lot.
And then player-wise, were you friends with Raz as well?
Yeah. Still good friends with Raz, Cole as well. So 2 boys there. When I was younger, Raz was one of the guys that pushed me, and he was the one that made me feel comfy in the first team, to be honest with you. So another full circle moment to be able to come here and play with him.
How important was your mum and your brothers for you getting here today? What sort of like part did they play in that upbringing as well?
I wouldn't be here without them. It's as simple as that. They're my foundation. Without them, I'm nothing.
How proud was your mum when she heard the news about Chelsea?
She was gassed. She was gassed, yeah. She's always had a soft spot for Chelsea. So, yeah, she's very happy. She loved back in the day when we had all the African players, because she's from Nigeria. So she's always had a soft spot for Chelsea.
And your brothers, do you all support Chelsea now? Or they,
Of course. Of course, that's how it goes. They're going to be singing Chelsea songs. They'll be learning all of them.
Okay, Tosin.
Showing us it. But
Left or right? Perhaps we put your one hand up, your right hand up on the. That's it. As you're just looking at like that.
Everything I do in my spare times is devoted towards just becoming a better player and a better person. So whether that is making sure I get the right recovery in, making sure seeing how I can improve, analyze my game. Before every game, I know my opposition before I've already stepped onto the pitch. So that's something I always do.
what's your life away from football like?
Just to relax, get on the sofa, have a nap, relax, just be ready for the next day. Spend time with my brothers, spend time with my family.
If you go out to a restaurant, where are you eating? What's your cuisine?
That's a good question. Chinese, Japanese, yeah. Sesame prawn toast, egg fried rice, then either a black bean beef or a sweet and sour chicken.
With the chips, Chinese.
No. No. It's not chips. It's never a chips at a Chinese. That doesn't make sense to me. What's it called? Salt and pepper chips?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not for me.
No, that's good. I like that.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So look down, look at the badge.
Smack the badge, look at the badge.
No, don't. Off the top of it. Just look up over there again if you're doing that.
There's a smiling laughter, like. You got it right there. Style-wise, fashion, like what are you into? Like, what's your lifestyle?
More relaxed. Not always this suave suit. More relaxed attire. Yeah, more casual.
Cool. And I was going to put you here. That's right. You can stand there facing the building. Big building. What do you think of it?
Amazing. Good facilities. I'm excited to be in there.
Wicked. And then what is your message to the fans as well?
My message to the fans is be excited for the upcoming season, and we're going to be looking to win a lot of football matches.
There you go, guys. Be excited for the season. We are going to be winning a lot of football matches. And do you know what I like about that interview more than anything? It's just more about how confident he was. He's got a lot of confidence about him. And I do think there's a leader in him. Obviously, and I agree with what Nyack said here. Leadership isn't inherent. It's acquired, people. Yeah, it's true. I agree. I do feel we have to see what type of leadership qualities he is on the pitch. Is he vocal? Is he an organizer? Which I think we're going to need at the back. Something that we really miss at the moment is that person with a voice. I think Fofana may have it, but it's just getting him fit. I think the Sassy, I don't really think the Sassy's, even though he should be, he's more experienced than the rest, you could say, is a massive leader. Badiashile is definitely not a leader for me. Cole will has got the qualities as well. So there's a number of players that could really providing we keep the team fit, could really be leaders in the team. I think we're going to have to wait and see what we have to find. We need a Giroud replacement as well as Alvarez. We should go Duran. This Duran guy, man, I don't know, I don't know. But yeah, welcome to Chelsea FC, Tosin. We look forward to seeing you next year. And the one thing that I banged on about before he even came to the club is I said he's a ball player. He's a defender that likes playing with the ball. I also like the comments about how he said, I know my opponent before I even start. Like, I know them. That's very important. And this is why Premier League experience is key, guys. He's coming in with Premier League experience and he knows his opposition that he's up against, which is good. He doesn't need to adapt to the style of the Premier League. He's going to bring a lot of experience. I actually think he's going to surprise a lot of people. And I think he might even be better around better players. And I'm not saying Fulham are crap. They're not. But around maybe better players as well, leading the team, showing his qualities on the ball in a Maresca system. I think he could be good. And he's a big unit, but he's very light on his feet. So lots to good. Lots that we need to see. It's all good talk. We want action as Chelsea fans. We want to see what they can provide, which is fine. I understand that. So we will see in the future. We're Tosin. First signing under the Maresca. Welcome to Chelsea. We are going to talk about Sesko in a second. That's one of the things we're going to talk to. But let's move away from Tosin now, as he's the first player signed at Chelsea in this window. We're going to go into goalkeepers. That is a big talk around Chelsea signing back Bolka, which is a really stupid decision, in my opinion, because we let him go. Yes, he's been very good. Apparently, we're interested in him. He wants to quadruple his current salary, which is currently 55,000 euros a month. That means he wants nearly 200,000 euros a month, apparently, which is about 100. He's going to want the same money as Kepa, which is ridiculous. And if that's true, then we should be running away anyway, because we shouldn't be paying 55,000, nearly 200,000 euros a month for a goalkeeper, in my opinion. There is interest. Interest is the comment at the moment on here. Whether or not it pulls through, I don't know. We've been told that Sanchez and Petrovic are staying. So why would we look for a goalie if we're keeping these two? And then you've got Kepa. And Kepa supposedly wants to have that conversation with Maresca as well. So I don't know. I mean, he went to PSG, Gem, not like we dumped him to. That's true. That is true. But still, 200k is a lot of money, man. 200k euro. If that's true, that's a lot of money euro-wise for a goalkeeper. Didn't we have Courtois when he was around? I think so. I was in and around that period. Well, a month, he wants 55k grand a week. No, he's already on that. He wants to quadruple that. He wants 200k a week. Yeah, no, but Fairs, I guess so. If he wants to, yeah, but again, this is why it's contradicting, because the 50k a week is what he's on at the moment. So why would you say he wants to quadruple it and be on 200k a month? Well, didn't say 200k, but he wants to quadruple that. Makes no sense. Yeah, Keba's on ridiculous amounts of money at the end of the day. Listen, the goalkeeper area is an area where it was meant to be priority, may still be, but we're hearing more now. The priority is swung again, and the priority continues to swing, and it's now swung to strikers. And Graham Bailey today came out and said it is a straight fight between Chelsea and Arsenal for Benjamin Sesko's signature. Now, in recent news, we've heard from Fabrizio Romano specifically that Sesko still hasn't made a decision. He's had a very lucrative offer from Leipzig already, but he's also had interest from Manchester United, Arsenal, and Chelsea. Now, apparently, every single club has given him an idea of the project. I don't know if an actual open offer has been put forward. I don't think so, but he's been given the idea of what these clubs want to do moving forward. He supposedly is going to make a decision before the Euros on where and what he wants to do, whether he stays, whether he goes. Now, he is on the Chelsea list. He is one that is on the Chelsea list, and we are still sort of monitoring that as well. But there has also been a out the blue striker entered into the race. So we've been told. And the person that confirmed the news is a big reporter in Argentina called Gaston Edel. If you remember him, he's the one that was spot on with the Enzo Fernandez story through that period of the Enzo Fernandez saga. He's a well reputable journalist across Argentina. He's in his way in Argentina. He's like maybe like the Ormstein of Argentina when it comes to Argentinian news. He's come out today, yesterday, confirming that Chelsea have made it known. Chelsea have made it known they make a proposal for Alvarez in the next few days. Now, how did this all start? Well, there was news that a big Premier League club was interested in Alvarez. A big Premier League club. It could have been Man United, but we all knew that it was probably going to mostly be us. And shock, be told, it is us. Now, how do you feel? I don't want us to chat this. How do you guys feel on the back of Alvarez being an option for this club? I want to know really deeply. Does he suit the profile? Does he score enough goals? Do you think he's going to suit the style of play? I want to know what people are saying. Sesko's choosing Arsenal is what we've got here. Alvarez is overrated is what Happy Human's saying. Josh does love Alvarez. I remember having this conversation with Josh about Alvarez, and I said Haaland would be more effective in the City game, which he was, but he wasn't available. Alvarez actually had a bit of a stinker that game, but they all did. So we can't really say it was just Alvarez. It was the whole Man City team. This is when we drew 1-1. I'd be fine with Sesko, but I'd pick Alvarez over him any day of the week. Well, what does Alvarez have over Sesko? That's the big question. The big question there, and the easy question and answer is Premier League experience. He's not as young. He's a little bit more developed in ahead. He's been playing in a team that's been winning constantly. He's one of the only players to have both badges on his kit, the World Cup badge and the Man City. For Man City, he's got the badge as well. So he's got 2 golden badges on 2 kits for club and country. He's a space looker. Like he creates space for people. That's what I'd say about Alvarez. What I like about him is he's not like your typical like Didier Drogba type of striker. He's a different type. He's the type of striker that will target space. He'll make space for others. He'll create for others with that. And he has the ability to put his foot through the ball and put it in the back of the net. Then you want to talk about clinical. Is he clinical? Well, in a Man City team, you're created a lot for. So it's probably very hard to judge. But is there a very good striker in Alvarez? Yes. Most importantly, does Alvarez suit Chelsea? Does he suit the profile of maybe what we're going to do? Now, we don't know what we're going to do yet because we've not seen it. We can only go on what we know from Maresca's past clubs. But I don't see how he doesn't with the high-risk football, the link-up play, the carrying of the ball. I think he can do all that very well. And between him and Jackson, I think you've got, decent backup. Guys, nearly 300 people in the building as well. Big up to every single one of you guys in here. Keep smashing the likes. We've got a lot to go through on Alvarez. And then we're going to open it up to the panel. The panel's going to come in. And then we're going to talk more about this Alvarez thing. But I want to give you guys as much information as possible on Alvarez. And we're going to keep flying through that. Big up Eric Blue in the chat as well. Now, who could really be involved in it? Could it be, or should it be, Agent Enzo? Agent Enzo seems to be very focal at the moment about Alvarez on Instagram. All of a sudden, you're seeing lots of pictures of Enzo and Alvarez, Enzo and Alvarez, Enzo and Alvarez. Enzo put up a picture recently. Every day is the same. Seems to be very focused on having images with Alvarez. And people would forget, Alvarez and Enzo Fernandez have already played with each other back in the Benfica days. And this is to give you guys a bit of an idea of when. But this was Enzo. This was Enzo. Ready? Watch this. So the ball comes into Enzo. Look at Enzo's position here for Benfica, guys. Which is quite funny because no Chelsea fan wants to see him in the 10 role. And my man is in the 10 role. But you look at this. Enzo Fernandez, you ready? A fit Enzo Fernandez. And it goes through his legs as well. Goes through the guy's legs. And look who it receives it. Alvarez. This is Alvarez up front for River Plate. Sorry. Is it River Plate at the time? Not at Benfica, River Plate. This is Alvarez up front. And this is Alvarez. This right here is Alvarez. Enzo's running in behind, trying to support. Looks a little bit quicker there, I'm not going to lie. And then Bosch. Bosch, guys. Now that is a typical Alvarez finish. That right there. And that is what I like about him. If you look what I said about his movement as well. So that ball's coming, right? Look at how he attacks space all the time. Look, he's already making the run before he already knows Enzo's going to fight. And this is a big key for me. Chemistry. Having the understanding of who's going to make runs here and where. Maybe this is a big reason why Chelsea are looking at this. Because, again, look at Enzo. And then look at Alvarez. Look, Alvarez already knows he's about to do something. Look, he's already pointing. He's already going. Enzo flicks it into that space that Alvarez receives. And the rest of his history, because that is a great finish. That is a great finish. So, there's that. Is that chemistry there? River Plate. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I did say that. Yeah, I did after. I saw the kit and I was like, River Plate. Why am I saying Benfica? River Plate. These are the little cheeky signings that make me love Chelsea. It's such dynamic forwards. It's the movements. It's the being able to run into the space. It's being able to, to find the space and create, which is effectively key as well. Guys, nearly 300 people in the building right now as well. Keep smashing the likes. Right, we're going to look at the stats, then we're going to get the boys in. Don, if you're around, get in. Josh as well. What has he done this season? Let's have a look at him because he's played 54 games. You wouldn't think so, but he has. 54 games. 36 in the Premier League, 7 in the Champions League, 6, 2 and a 1. Now, how many goals has he scored? Well, he scored 19 goals across all competitions, 11 in the Premier League, 5 in the Champions League, 1 and 2 in the Club World Cup. He's had 9 assists, and this is the big thing as well about his game. Not only does he score goals, but he scores and he assists. He has the ability to be able to assist as well. That's 9 assists created, which means if he's making runs and he's the focal point, he will also look to find passes into runners. So he will create the space, which will allow Palmer and Nkunku to run into space. And he also has the eye to make the right pass or find the pass, which is a very big thing of being able to play as a striker, especially at Chelsea, because yes, we want someone to be clinical and we want someone to score goals, and that's important. But he will create as well. He will give options to create, and the assist levels are pretty good. It's not bad. And then if you look at him, let's go back to 22-23. Let's have a look at 20. I just want to just get an idea. I mean, you can't even knock him for what he's won. Look, he's winning. He's just won it all, mate. Oh, he won it all. He's won it all. So this is his numbers before that. 17 goals in all competitions, 5 assists. So you could say he's improved this season. He's definitely improved this season on his numbers, even though he played more games the season before. I don't know too much into why. Maybe that's because that was the season Haaland come in and he was playing every single game pretty much. But he still maybe came on, at half time and things like that. So let's go to the 21-22 season. In the 21-22 season, he was playing in the Copa de la Liga, all this stuff. So this must be what? River Plate, I'm assuming, right? 8 goals, 2 assists. So what you could say for now is that his goal tally and development and where he's going is improving. You can see there's an improvement in his game. You can also see from an injury side of things, availability, being available, guys. Look at this guy. That's his injury list, by the way. This is man's injury list. He missed 1 game for River Plate. 1 game for River Plate because he was ill. 1 game. And since that, availability, no problem. Doesn't get injured. Doesn't play out games. Plays a lot of football in and out, especially for Man City. And look at that record. Refresh the page. Refresh the page. Is it gone weird? Is that better? Can you see that, guys? Is everyone all right? Can you all see that? Yeah. Can you all see that? So yeah, there you go. You know, that gives you a real good example of the type of player he is from an injury perspective. Yeah, I just can't believe that only one injury. Oh, right. I thought you were saying you actually made me refresh it, Josh. That is it. That is his detailed. And even if you go to details, let's go to details. There is no detail. It's just in 22-23, he got ill like any normal human being and missed one game. And that's it. His professional career is involved around one injury. And he will play more games for Chelsea. You know, between him and Jackson, there could be rotation. But I don't see it because this guy, you know, unless this guy's fatigued, he's probably going to start. If you know, we're being told that it's going to be around 80 odd million for Alvarez. Now, is that a lot of money? Is that a lot of money for Alvarez? I want to ask you guys in the chat. Because for me, when you look at the quality of play you're bringing in, the Premier League experience, the being able to run into space to create for others, what he would do, which I would say is more of a system-based player. I think he's more of a system-based individual, which I think is good. But he also has the cleanness to strike a ball when he wants to and can finish better than Jackson. That's for sure. We can confirm that. You know, it's a very good. You know, you got to look at it being a very good option. His injury list is good. He's still what, 20? Is he 24? How old's Alvarez? Is he 24? How old is he? 24, yeah. He's 24. He's going to be 25 in January. He'll be 25 in January. He's at a very good age now as well. Why are we asking? Who's asking this? Someone in the chat. What's the difference between Alvarez and Sesko? Alvarez is better and has more experience. Sesko just played well. So this is it. This is the truth, and this is where we're going with it. Sesko's 55 million, but very raw. But you can see this potential. Alvarez is a little bit older. Yeah, on his way through his development. Played Premier League. Scores goals. Assists as well. Brings you availability, which means he doesn't get injured much. Yeah, he's 24 now. He's 24. So it depends what you want, really. Do you want someone that's you need to develop? And I do think, do you know what? I think Alvarez, I don't think we've seen the best of Alvarez yet. Because he hasn't played, even though we've seen a very good Alvarez at Man City, and Alvarez that's playing consistently and being developed, because I still think there's room to develop him. And I think that does fall in regards to maybe scoring more goals. But that comes with playing more games. So there might be room for development still in him as well. So, Jackson, not Sesko. So, yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. We've got a little thread to go through, and then I'm going to put this out to the panel. So I want to get the panel in. We're going to be sticking on Alvarez. I want to get everyone's thoughts and opinions in the chat on it as well. But I've got this thread that, yes, Blue Lounge, what are you saying? How are you, bro? While I'm working, can't go wrong with that. Hey, come on, bro. Good to see you. You want Alvarez. Not gonna lie. If we pull this off, I'm expecting us to challenge next season. We won't win but man, this kid. Listen, the one thing I will say is they won't. Man City don't want to sell him. This ain't a guy that they just want to lose again. A bit like Cole Palmer. It's not the case. It's not the case that they're going to want. They want to keep Alvarez. They made it very clear. But Alvarez has came to Pep at the end of the season and said, "I want more game time. I want to play. I want to play." And he's not playing enough there. If Haaland's fit, he plays. If De Bruyne's fit, he plays. The only way they've managed to fit him in with recent is playing him in sort of like a 10 role. But with De Bruyne, where he sort of sits in the pockets, which gives you an option, by the way, because if you didn't even play him as a striker, you could still play Jackson up there for versatility, having Kunku on the left, Alvarez in the middle, Palmer on the right, if we don't get Elise. Just saying, if we don't get Elise, Palmer on the right, Alvarez in the middle, and Kunku on the left, Jackson up front. And Enzo will join that mix. He can mix it. Do you know what I mean? He has the ability to do that. But you want him really up front, running into the pockets, being the last man and scoring the goals. You know? Alvarez wants to play. He does. He does. Pep will keep a player that wants to leave. Won't keep a player. Will never keep a player who wants to leave. Yes, it's true. That's true. He doesn't really hold them against their sort of will. Right. Let's go through this thread. Currently, I lean towards Sesko, this guy says. And this is why I want to talk about this thread. Due to his aerial dominance and his striker's instincts. So is he basically saying that he feels Sesko's a better striker? I think he's got better attributes, like specific better attributes than Alvarez. It's better in the air, but that's for sure. Can he hit a ball cleaner? Why does he think he's got striker's instincts? Because I still think he's very raw. I think he scores a array of different goals, but I still think he's very raw. Sesko's ability to win aerial duels and his natural goal-scoring instincts provide a unique advantage in certain game scenarios. Now, Alvarez, while lacking aerial prowess, compensates with sharp striker instincts. That's the key. The know to run in, but also the know to finish, to have the ability to find space. And remember what I said to you earlier on about him? His ability to find space in the box and convert chances could potentially offer an upgrade to Jackson. Yes, because the one thing that Jackson lacks is awareness to where he runs. I've always said that. All of last season, go and check it. All of last season, I've said that. It's the way Jackson sometimes doesn't have that striker's knowledge in game to know where to drag players, defenders, to create space for others, even if it isn't him scoring. It's important. However, both strikers are not proven yet consistent finishers. No. And the one thing I would say is he ain't consistent and he ain't clinical. He ain't clinical. In 23-24, minus 2.5, 1.8 to 4.21. I don't know what any of that means to me, but yeah. So Alvarez offers flexibility, and that's the big thing. Versatility and flexibility is the key with Alvarez. A key asset in any team's arsenal. His versatility to play multiple attacking roles allows for tactical adjustments during match and provides depth to squad. Now, that is really key based on the coach that you have at the time. Because if you're going to play in a way where you've got a manager that's tactically flexible, he's very intricate about the movements, the positions. Alvarez is perfect for this, Enzo Maresca, by the way. I think Alvarez is perfect for Enzo Maresca in what he wants to do. Not only do they know each other, and I think this is why Alvarez to Chelsea's heating up a little bit, because you've got Joe Shields, who I think is leading this. And I'll be quite honest here, I think Joe Shields is more involved in this than we know. I actually think he's probably got a bit of an upgrade on his job based on the decision-making of players coming in and the rights. I think Joe Shields is definitely involved in this based on his Cole Palmer. I think Cole Palmer's probably is the printout of Joe Shields. And I think the owners have looked at that and realised that. Lavia we've not seen yet. You know, Tosin has definitely got Joe Shields written over it. And Maresca, because Maresca knows Tosin as well. And the same with Alvarez. So there's that sort of blueprint, you know. And he does. And this is the thing that he does very well. He kind of like finds a way to fit in pockets. And remember I said to you, if he doesn't play as a striker or if he plays as like a assist striker, he will always play in between the pockets. He knows where to position himself and he doesn't have to be the main focal point. You know, he's got that sort of eye to know what to do. Oh. Here is a full article I wrote earlier in the season in case you're interested. Well, I ain't going to go into the full article, but this will give you a meaning of it. Analysis reveals Alvarez's proficiency in a SS/cam role with City's 3-2-5 formation. In this position, he demonstrates the ability to link midfield and attack effectively, contributing both creatively and in front of goal. And look, he can be the screw in the middle. So 3 at the back, your wingers holding out wide, a focal, someone up front, occupying the defenders. Alvarez, he can come here, receive. He can go here, receive. He is a floater. He literally is just a floater. But he also has that sort of creativity in him and that finisher in front of goal that we don't have. But how would Alvarez's skills integrate at Chelsea? Considering our current lineup and tactics, it's essential to evaluate how his strengths could be complement our style of play and existing personnel. Well, I think Eze just popped up. So what happened there? I think leveraging. Why does he keep doing that? That's it. I think leveraging Alvarez's versatility to optimize Nkunku's performance, possibly benefiting Jackson too, is a huge upside. By utilizing Alvarez in a similar SS/cam role, he can maximize Nkunku's playmaking and finishing competencies. We know Nkunku can finish. He's a killer. You don't even have to explain that. Born killer in front of goal. He has players around him that attract space and he can link up play with and find himself in them right positions ahead of everyone, which he probably will next season. Don't be shocked if Nkunku's like the furthest man up the pitch when we're attacking. He will score, but you need to have people around him to be able to do that. So an occupier people. By converting a cam role into a hybrid striker, Nkunku/Alvarez could exploit defensive vulnerabilities, enhancing our attack prowess. The tactical adjustments could unsettle the opposing defense and create more scoring opportunities for a team. This approach demands more goal-scoring instincts from other players. And this is true. Other people making runs in behind while they make the space is what I keep telling people. But with the talents like Cole Palmer and co, the potential is promising. With Sterling knack for scoring from the wings, we could see the Englishman find his Man City form. People are still hopeful that Sterling could be a big part in this. You know, because Sterling can get in behind and be the last man if he's playing on speed. But we've not really seen the best of that Sterling yet. You know, would this enhance Sterling? Would this enhance Nkunku? And this is the big thing. Does he bring in a system? Does he improve what's around us? Yeah, because he's versatile. He's got that versatile way. In conclusion, Alvarez's potential transfer to Chelsea brings versatility and sharp attacking instincts that could elevate our team's performance. But this debate of Alvarez versus Sesko depends on what strengths the sporting directors and Maresca want to bring. And that's the big key. And I agree with him. He said something so key there. What is it we want from our striker? What profile do you want? And how do you want to play with the current players that you are currently in disposal with? That's the key. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys? So it's down to the owners to work it out. The link's in the WhatsApp group. If Don's here, Couch, if you're here, click there. I need to quickly send this to Josh as well. Let's get Josh in here. Josh. All right. We got Dan, the yellow bus, joining us as well. We got Josh CFC joining us. Guys, we've got over 300 people in the building. 300 people means that every single person here smash the like button for Chelsea Football Club. Smash the like button if we are the biggest team in London, if we're the best team in London. I want to see these likes flying, guys, because at the moment, I don't think we've got enough likes. I'm going to have a look right now. We have got 59 on Chelsea fans. Why is that not 100, guys? There's over 100 people there. Guys, smash it. It takes 2 seconds to hit the thumb. Hit the thumb. GNA TV, over 100 there as well. Come on, smash the likes, guys. We should be on 100, nearly 100 there as well. There's only 30 there. Come on, we've got to get that over 50. GNA TV, thumbs. Hit the thumbs, guys. Everyone hit the thumbs on the YouTube pages if you can, please. I want to see these fly up. That's it. I can see it. I can see it. Keep going, guys. Keep going. Keep running out. 350 people in the building. Please hit the likes, guys. It really helps the channels. So, yes, Josh, you've got the link. El Patron's got the link. Did I just send Josh the link today? Yeah, Josh, you got the link. You got the link. The boys have got the link. I want to know more. I want to know more about what you guys think. Smash the buttons, guys. It's not hard. Smash the likes. Come on. Come on, guys. Calby, would they spend the money? Yes, I think he fits very nicely with the squad mix, and that's the most important thing. But I think the key in all of it is just that mark there. What it says there is the biggest thing for me. It's bigger than anything to do with the player. Anything, because if Maresca's idea is to have a big, strong number 9 that can win aerial balls, hold up, and do bits maybe that are a little bit different, which is not asking a striker to drop into the cam rolls, to not open up, just to be at the other end and we create and them to occupy and use their abilities further forward. Sesko. Is that what he wants from his system? But if the system idea is to have rotation for other attackers in the team to be able to exploit spaces, for Alvarez to also be on the end of things to create for him to create, which he can because he has that ability to have that versatility to go into a cam and then straight into a second striker. And Nkunku running in behind Palmer, Jackson maybe playing as a leader line, and then Nkunku like having the variation is Alvarez. If you want variation in systems and ideas, Alvarez. If you want someone that's just strictly going to be a number 9 and occupy, and bring their qualities on holding ball, linking, and then getting in the box and creating space and putting the ball in the back of the net, Sesko. That's what it is. That strictly is what it is. They're two different players for me. Massively two different players. What is it that we want? Alvarez and Elise, 140 million. Can you imagine Elise with Alvarez and Palmer and then Nkunku? Jesus. Sesko would have been good for Poch. Alvarez, Palmer, Elise and Nkunku. That's scary. But then what about Jackson, guys? And if we remember, we've still got to be developing Jackson. What's going on? Josh, you've got the link, by the way, bro. I don't know if you want to come in. If you're not busy, you got the link. If you want to come in, let me know. Calby, yes, fluid. That is a short attack, but they are so quick and technically sound. Boy, it's almost unfair. Alvarez, Palmer, and Nkunku, Elise. Yeah, but you know what, Nike? Why it works for me is that I think Alvarez has the assists and the creativity idea, but Nkunku has the killing instinct. Yeah. So even if Alvarez isn't at the end of scoring goals all the time, if you've got an fitting Nkunku around him as well, running into them spaces, taking chances, this, that, and the other. If you can enhance Nkunku so that he's effective in this formation and he's on the end of everything, or I would take it all day. And I think it's the alteration. I think Elise will create for Nkunku. We know Palmer can create for Nkunku. Alvarez can create, but Alvarez might create in a different way, and that creating is dragging players out of position, which allows Nkunku to be direct and running behind into spaces or to link play. Comfortable people on the ball, so when they receive the ball, they don't just it doesn't just bounce off them and go flying off them. All 4 of these players are all comfortable, balanced, and can carry the ball. You can't shift them off the ball. They're good. They're just very good with the ball at their feet, and that's what you get. I did, Josh. Have I not? What is going on here? I just sent it to Josh CFC. Josh, it's on your Twitter, mate. There you go. Oh, I sent it, bro. Sorry. I thought I sent it. So, it's a good mix. It is a good mix. Nico will get minutes with us playing in all comps. Yeah, Nico, look, this isn't to get rid of Nicholas Jackson, by the way. Nicholas Jackson still can develop and fit in this also with Alvarez. It might be the case that Nkunku can't play every game. You got Jackson that can play as a main striker, or he can play off the left and just invert forward in behind. And Alvarez can run off Jackson into the spaces, as of what Nkunku would have done in that sort of role. There's more variation to what we do, but with Elise in there as well. And now listen, if we don't get Elise and we just got Alvarez, it would still be effective because you could play Palmer on the right, Nkunku on the left, Alvarez in the 10 pocket, and Jackson up front. It could still be variated. This is what I'm saying. It brings a lot of versatility, a lot of options, a lot of ideas, but they're 2 different strikers. And the biggest key in all of it, forgetting what we want the best, obviously, is the manager. This is how I'm going to play and set up. This is what we were going to do. This is the specific type of striker or second striker that I need in a team to be able to do. And if it's variation, if it's different types in game, if it's being able to drop in, carry balls, link up, but also contribute to goals and create? Alvarez. If it's just a fixed striker, someone that can hold the ball up aerially and focus on just being, using his striker instincts to get in the right spaces so that Elise and Kunku or whatever can create, and he just there to pull it in and link up play, because they will, but differently. It's a different type of link up because he's not running into spaces. He's a focal point. It will come to him. He'll control it. He'll, people will run off him. It'd be a bit like the Giroud sort of thing. This is different for me, But Josh, what you saying?
What's up, buddy?
How are you?
Yeah, no. To me, I honestly wouldn't be super shocked if this wasn't maybe a Maresca
request.
Yeah, like if they're talking to him like, hey, we're working on strikers. What's the ideal kind of player you're looking for? And I wouldn't be if he was like, hey, who would really be an ideal kind of guy is like an Alvarez type, right? Someone he's familiar with. He's been around him at City before. And and the links with him didn't start coming until after Enzo had signed and became the manager. Then you just recently over the last day or two started to hear Alvarez's name. So it wouldn't surprise me if he was like a guy that Maresca was like, ideally this would be a kind of guy. But City, it's a good player to go after because City, they do have Haaland, who they're probably going to try to re-sign. And that is a lot of minutes that he eats up for Alvarez. So if Alvarez is looking to play more, wants to play more centrally, leaving City is probably the best bet for him to do that. So I mentioned it earlier, but when a player tells Pep that he wants to leave, Pep is not the kind of manager that will really make that guy stay. I think he had some conversations with Bernardo Silva about that when he was wanting to go to Barca, but I don't think Bernardo ever like fully told Pep he wants to leave, which is why he ended up staying. But I think it would be awesome. This is a crazy change of events, but I really like the player a lot.
Yeah, and do you think he would suit what we have as well? Because you've got to look at profile, you've got to look at the squad currently. Do you think it's one that you can see working for the players around? That would it benefit other players in the team having him in there? Do you think?
Sure. Yeah, and I only say that because of his versatility. I think his ability to play, to make runs off the ball, to be strong on the ball, to go wider, drift wide, pull defenders with him, make plays for other people, make space for other people. I think a guy like Nkuku would love a striker like Alvarez because he's going to be dragging defenders all over the final third. And so for me, if I'm looking at, obviously, if you could have an elite focal talisman, maybe that would be ideal, but I don't know that guy exists outside of a Haaland anymore anyway. But, Alvarez gives you a lot of flexibility. And we were talking about Jackson earlier. There probably are games where maybe Alvarez moves out to the left wing or to the right wing or something. He's played on the wing at City before. So maybe there's games in the cup competitions, or if you're trying to get Jackson some minutes up top, you've got the ability now where if you want to keep Alvarez on the pitch, you can move him around a bit, and his versatility allows for that. It's not a real drop off when he goes to the wing.
Do you think it actually benefits Enzo Fernandez as well? That chemistry relationship as well already with the two of them?
Yeah, probably mentally a little bit as well. It's somebody that he knows really well. They're close. They're countrymen, and it seems like he's kind of been maybe leading the push on this as well too, from a player side, like really pushing Alvarez to make the decision. So I think anything that's going to boost his confidence, get Enzo firing, I think these are all good things for the team. So I love it. Listen, I like Sesko a lot too. If it ends up being Sesko, I'm not going to be upset, but this is the kind of player that, man, it's really, really cool to hear it's linked with guys like this.
It all just falls down to me massively about what the manager wants and how he wants to play and style. What style wise, style. What do you want? Because they are very different. One's versatile, drops to the 10, can play in between the pockets. The other one's focal point, aerially very good. Can do the little bit. It reminds me a little bit like Giroud. Can link the play. Do you know what I mean? And then just get him in the box and on the end of things. So it's two different types of options here. But Daniel, what are you saying, bro? How are you?
I'm good. That's what's interesting. What you just said at the end right there. We're looking at two very, very different types of strikers. So Sesko doesn't touch the ball really much. Doesn't drop in. Cannot play on the wing. Cannot play cam. That's something that Alvarez can do. But you have to think, why leave City if he doesn't want to play striker, like exclusively, right? Because he's playing at City. It's not like he's on the bench, not getting minutes. He plays damn near every
And
game.
he
He
wants
just
more
doesn't play.
minutes.
He just doesn't play. No, he gets a lot of minutes. He just doesn't play striker. Like he gets a lot of minutes on the wing, at cam, in different areas except striker. So to me, the only reason why you leave City is you want to play striker, not play on the wing or play 10 or things like that. So that'll be interesting if he's coming to Chelsea to play exclusively as a number one striker. I don't know how that will work because I think he's very similar to Nkunku. I think they're very, very, very similar players in being like, essentially they've in the European game at least they've established themselves as really, really good second strikers, right? Playing with another guy. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I think he's a really good player. I just don't know how we would make it work in this team. So yeah.
Do you not think that his idea of being able to like create space for others, which I think is a big thing, will allow like the likes of Nkunku who hunt space to be more effective and score more goals? So it could enhance someone like Nkunku's game, because I think it would in a way, just on his ability to be able to drag people out of positions, not always just be on the end of things, you know, as well.
No, yeah, but even right now, do we even know where Nkunku plays, especially if
It'd be off the left, I think, left inside inverted forward. I would say,
okay. I mean, but we don't know that yet, though, right?
No, we don't.
I don't know where he plays. I don't know if he plays striker. And again, when you talk about Julian Alvarez, what he does in creating space and creating assists and doing all those things, he's doing it from the second striker role, right? He was never the striker for City where he got those nine assists, right? So I don't know how that movement looks when you are the focal point, where every focus is on you, right? So it's a little bit different. Expecting him to create like he's creating when he was playing number 10 essentially, then now he'll be the main striker. So you might lose some of his creativity and get more goals, right? Like he might score 20 goals this year, but like lose some of his.
I hear what you're saying.
Which I'm fine with. I don't mind that. You know what I mean? Like, but I think his creativity might look different because he's not playing number 10 anymore.
Right. Yeah, Dan, but maybe that's where the other guys around him pick up the creativity aspect of the game, right? So you got Palmer's, your Elise's, your Nkunku. These guys are also extremely creative as well. So like, maybe his assist numbers go to like maybe 5 or 6, but the goals go from 14 to 20 or something.
Yeah.
Like I would be totally fine if that's what his numbers look like for us as opposed to at City. And you got guys like Elise. Listen, this dude is he's incredible. This guy is a right winger who puts up number. I mean, I think he had like 15 and 9 this year. Like off the right wing, that is an impressive output. So if you've got a guy like that who can get you goals from the right wing, you've got a guy like Nkunku who can, like Dan said, we don't know where he's going to play. I'm going to guess somewhere off the left, central left kind of thing. But he is, we saw at the end of the season, I mean, his ability to get into the box and get in spots to score goals is just an elite level of caliber player. So, you're talking about these really creative guys around him. Now you just tell him, like, listen, man, we just want you to score some goals, have a little fun out there. And now you've got guys who are able to do that, maybe pick up the assist part of the game. I mean, Paul, we're all forgetting. We're not forgetting Palmer, but listen, Palmer is that guy. He is a absolute superstar. So now you've got guys like him who is playing with less pressure. That's a good thing for us. So
people love the idea of Alvarez more than what he actually is. Don't bring him here, is what the Medic says, which is an interesting one. And do you know it's weird for me because I'm not like, oh my god, I need Alvarez. Oh my god, like I'm not one of them ones. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not like fully sold in the idea. What I am fully backing in all of this, and I've said it about 4 times already, is making sure that we get the right profile striker to suit the manager's idea of what he wants to do with these players, whatever that is. So whatever it is that he wants to do.
What's funny, Jen, is like I don't have to have an idea about Alvarez because I've seen him play multiple times and I know what a good player he is. Like if this is somebody that I have never seen, then it's like, oh well, I have an idea of what kind of player he is. But no, I know what kind of player he is. He's an awesome player, and so
of course he is. There's no doubts about that. It's the profiling though, isn't it? It's like.
Well, I don't even need to profile him. I know what he does. I know what he does well.
No, I'm saying, not him though. Again, I'm not talking about his profile or Sesko's. I'm talking about what profile do we need?
What
profile do we need to get the best out of what Maresca wants to do? That's the most important thing, right? Because we've done the thing with the whole thing with Lukaku, where we just brought him in, but he didn't actually fit the profile of the players we had around him, and it was a waste of money. And I don't want to be doing that again. So I want to make sure we get the right person to fit what it is that we're trying to do, so it benefits the team. Because importantly, yeah, we want them to score goals, but they have to, when they're in the team, it has to benefit everyone around them. Has to like benefit from them as well. They can't just be on the pitch. You know what I mean? Like, it's important. There needs to be that chemistry with them all, you know. And it's finding, and the reason, the way you find that is by playing in the way the manager wants to play, and him having the players available to be able to do what it is that he wants to do, because they're flexible. For example, if it's Alvarez, it's because he wants versatility. He wants people to drop in. He wants them to pick the ball, carry it, attack the space, wings to attack the space. Like, I'm just giving you an example like that. That makes sense. Yeah, fine. Alvarez, 100%.
Yeah.
But if you want a striker that's going to dominate and be a presence and hold the ball, and when I look at what he had back in Leicester, he doesn't really have that type of Sesko type. He's not really had that. You know, I'd look at that more being like a McKenna. When I watch McKenna, he always just likes a strict, hard number 9. Someone that can hold the ball, good aerially, strong, like bullies people off the ball. But Maresca seems to be more of someone that he likes someone to be quite flexible up front, that can link the play, that can carry, but can also put the ball in the back of the net and create space. So this probably could be obviously Joe Shields pushing this, because I do think Joe Shields has probably got some sort of say in this, but this could be firmly a decision made by Maresca as well.
No doubt, dude. This dude, Joe Shields, this is the city whisperer right here, man. I love this guy. He's like, he knows every single player at City that's like just maybe slightly unhappy, and he's like, all right, I'll go get that guy. I could convince him to come. I love the way this guy's moving, and if he is the one, you know, who's spearheading some of these more recent moves, I mean.
But also, you know what's interesting though, Josh? City is a key example of what I've been saying for a while. You can't hoard too many young players. Even if you're doing well, they're going to want to leave, right? Like this guy won a treble the year prior, won a double last year. Won the league last year. And he's like, I want out. I want to play, and I want to play striker, right? And Palmer was just getting into the flow of things, right? He just started getting into more minutes in there, and he's like, nah, I want to play.
But just a few minutes more, Dan, you know? Like just a few minutes more.
The season didn't even really start. Like,
True. Well, like,
the season didn't really start, and he was like, I'm out. So I think it's interesting, like, City is usually the model of like, yo, they have 2 players in every spot. Not really, because those 2 players are trying to leave.
Right. Well, that's the thing, Dan. Like for me, we had this huge argument the other week about like the City model, and I tend to think that the internal City model is what we have going right now, right? But that's what they do with their youth and stuff. But they don't do a lot of promoting in their system. Pep is like, no, I buy me a guy, go spend $100 million, spend 50 or 40 on Kovacic. Like they don't do a lot of promoting from their academy. Like Foden is like
they do for the right player. To be fair. They do that for the right player.
No, they didn't do it for Palmer, but they like for Foden is like their little golden pony, and he's sort of the one.
I think it was harder for Palmer. The same model. It was harder for Palmer because he was ahead of him, innit? He had Mahrez, he had Bernardo Silva, and he had Foden ahead of him, bro. That's the problem.
Well, he's ahead of him by Pep's decision, right? Not necessarily because he's not a talent. I mean, listen, Palmer. Say what you want to say about Foden this year. He had a really great season, but I mean, listen, you could argue Palmer. When you look at their numbers, it's a little bit embarrassing for Foden. Like anytime they show them next to each other and they show their numbers, it's like, which one won Player of the Year? Which one was it? Because I mean, I know the guy who won the title, his team, he gets the extra boost on that, but it's hard.
The thing is, though, Palmer wouldn't get the same amount of freedom in a Man City system. And listen, for me, I was one of the few that was saying. It doesn't. I'm not really looking at the fact that Pep didn't want to play him, because I understood who was ahead of him. Because Mahrez was key for them. Yeah, Bernardo Silva key for them, and Foden, like I said, he was another one that was up and coming, but he wouldn't start for them either. So technically, Palmer was like 4th choice. And then on the left, he's not really a left winger. But like I said, when I would watch Palmer in the B team, bro, he never looked out of place. It was just a shame.
He benched Noni at the Euros, 21 Euros, after like one game. Noni was like, all right, they're not playing anymore. But I mean, but that's kind of my overall point though, Don, is that at City, a player like that is not going to get an opportunity. We're running that same model now, but we're running it with giving these guys chances to play in the first team. And so that's how you're able to steal them from other clubs. Like, hey, buddy, I know you're a great player, but at City, you might get 100 minutes this year. Like, why don't you come here? You could start. And now you've built a core group of young guys who've been playing together now for 3, 4, 5 years. And you're going to have a real monster on your hands if everything gels right. So I get it, but like their model doesn't necessarily promote guys to the first team, whereas ours is geared towards, if you're good enough, we're going to put you through. If not, damn near when you come in, you're going to be on the first team. So there are chances to poach players like that out of clubs when their model is different.
Yeah, I think right now Chelsea is looking quite attractive to the likes of Alvarez, right? Because if you look at Man City, Pep said it himself. He's closer to leaving than staying, right? And there's a big grey area around Man City after what happens when Pep leaves. And obviously they've got these charges on their head at the minute as well. We don't know what's going to happen with that. So the likes of Alvarez will look at a project like a Chelsea. Right now it looks like we're in the mud. But let's be real. If we get the likes of Olise, Alvarez, like Jem's been saying already, Nkunku, Palmer, all in one team, Lavia, Enzo, Caicedo, that could be the next up-and-coming team to go and dominate or to go and win stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? And a player like Alvarez, if you sell it to him and say, yo, you're going to be key to this project, you know what I mean? This is what we're trying to build. And again, we've got some South American players here already. I've noticed that's something that we're doing at the minute. We're bringing a lot of South American players here as well, yeah? And the fact that he's played with Enzo before at River Plate, that's a good selling point. But the only thing is Man City are not going to let him go for cheap. We're going to have to pay at least 70 million, I reckon. Plus probably add-ons as well. The add-ons will always be, winning trophies and that, which is a win-win. Because if you're paid the add-ons, it means you've done well.
Does he suit the system and what we have on all this as well? Do you think he would be good?
Yeah. I think I understand everyone's concerns around the physicality and the fact that, in the air and whatnot. But when I watch Alvarez, bro, he doesn't struggle in terms of his aerially. I don't look at him and think, oh, this guy's rubbish in the air. I'm pretty sure I've seen him score a couple of headers, to be fair. And in terms of his link-up play, I think it will suit what Maresca's trying to do. Because when I've seen the clips of how they attack, their 9, like I said, likes to drop in and almost plays as like a midfielder. And then what I would see was Drewsbury Hall playing as like the furthest man. So I can imagine an Alvarez dropping in to like the midfield, and then you've got like a Palmer running off of him, or an Nkunku running off of him. And now you're rotating. Remember I said in the group chat, he gives us a different dynamic because he allows us to rotate. Whereas with Sesko, I think he's more of a target man, if that makes sense. I don't really look at Alvarez as like a target man. I see him more as like a rotational player. Which is quite good, because I don't want us to just be dependent on the striker to be scoring the goals and whatnot. Anyway, I want everything. I want the goals and the assists to be coming all over the place. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. If Alvarez is bagging at least 15 goals in the league, you've got Olise bagging more than 10 goals, Palmer bagging again, I think he'll bag more than 15 as well, and Nkunku bagging more than 10, 15 goals. That's a lot of goals that are being shared. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm just looking for someone that can add a little bit of cohesion, a little bit of fluidity in our attack, and someone who's quite flexible. I think that he brings all of these things. It ticks a lot of boxes. It just all depends on what we're trying to do. But I can definitely see him working in the system. And I think people that are looking down on him because of his height or because of his physicality, he's not featherweight. He's not lightweight. He can definitely hold his own, man. And he's good on the ball as well. The problem last season is Pep kept playing him out of position. That's why he looked a little bit clunky at times. Playing him as a 10, playing him on the wing. I remember he played him on the wing against Liverpool, took him off at half-time, bro. And I'm thinking, Alvarez can't be on the wing. He ain't really got the attributes to be playing there. Do you know what I'm saying? So I could definitely see him working with the likes of Olise and that, man. Because these guys are just their football IQ, right, is so up there that they'll be on the same wavelength a lot, bro. Do you know what I mean? It'll be quite similar to what Man United used to do with Rooney, Ronaldo, and Tevez. They used to rotate a lot, bro. There wasn't really a out and out striker in that team. They all used to kind of just take up various positions, and I can see a similar sort of thing happening with Alvarez.
Well, Don, what that says to me when you're talking about Pep playing him out of position and stuff like that. To me, that says Pep knows what a great player he is, and he just wants him on the pitch. Now, it doesn't always work out like that, right? But guys like Pep just don't throw a guy on the pitch for the hell of it. Like, he has other talented players he could put on the wing or in the 10 if he wanted to. He knows Alvarez offers a certain something to the team that he wants on the field. So he puts him on there and puts him out of position sometimes, which, it doesn't always work out, but sometimes it does. Sometimes it gives them what they need from a pace perspective or ability to find Holland and stuff like that. But Yeah, to me that just shows like that a highly rated manager wants him on the pitch, regardless of whether it's in his strongest position or not.
Yeah, and I remember there's a game that sticks out to me. One of the main games that stick out to me was when I remember after the international break, not last season, the season before, when I think Haaland was injured and Man City had to play Liverpool, and he was the one that started for them. I think he even bagged 2 that game. He was on fire, bro. Like the link up play in front of goal. I'm pretty sure he got man of the match as well that game. Yeah, I was like, yo, this Alvarez guy, he's way too good to be on the bench like this. And eventually, he's gonna get to a point where he's like, yo, I need to go and start somewhere else. But I'm seeing a lot of Chelsea fans turning their nose up at him as if the market at the minute is flooded with all these world-class strikers that we're turning down. And I'm looking at it in reality and thinking, yo, this brother starts for pretty much every team in the league, barring Man City. And arguably, okay, if you want to talk about Aston Villa, maybe Watkins would start ahead of him at the minute. It's hard to drop Watkins. But if you talk about all the top 6 sides at the minute, the likes of United, he starts ahead of Højlund. He starts ahead of Havertz at Arsenal. He starts for us, 110%. He starts for all these top 6 sides, bro. Yeah, the classic top 6 sides. Spurs, he starts for them. So I think he'll be a good signing. And when opportunities like this come in the market, they might not have been in the plan, but if he fits the profile, like I said, which I think he does, yeah, and would suit what we're trying to do, I think it's a no-brainer, bro. I think it's a no-brainer. And it's good in front of goal as well. That's another thing. Bro, imagine if we had Alvarez against Liverpool or Man City. We don't lose those games at Wembley. We really don't. Those chances that we got.
Don, this is when you talk about the market. This is something I think that, of course, fans will never give credit for, but this is something that I think the ownership group and the board and the directors, these guys made that market. Trust me, City Alvarez is not on the market from City. Chelsea are doing a lot of work in the background to make him on the market. They're working with his agents. They're working with him. The players are talking to him. They want this guy at the club. So all they need him to do is tell City, hey, I'd like to go. And then City will now be able to negotiate, let him go. They don't want him to go. He's not on the market. I can promise you that. But Chelsea are making this happen. So if this deal does go through, a lot of praise should go to the board and to the staff for making this happen. Because trust me, this wasn't talked about more than 2 days ago. So you could rest assured that Alvarez was not just sitting openly on the market for teams to come get.
Yeah, facts. I was speaking to a Man City fan. I don't know if you guys know him, Daps, yeah? He was telling me how apparently his family want warmer climates and all of these things. And I said, yeah, that does play a big part. But at the end of the day, one thing we know about South Americans, yeah, is when you put money in front of them, a lot of them, listen, money talks, because a lot of them come from nothing. You know what I'm saying? They most of them will come from poverty or whatever. So they make sure that their family's taken care of. And that's something that Chelsea will sell to them as well. Like, listen, cool, you might have an offer from Atletico Madrid, but listen, if you go over there right now, it's looking like Real Madrid are going to dominate the way Barcelona were dominating that league back then. You know what I mean? Right now, Chelsea, if you come to Chelsea, you're literally putting us up there to potentially compete if we go bring the likes of Elise and that. Because I'm not hearing this thing about phases and whatnot, yeah? Okay, Maresca hasn't proven himself in the Prem as of yet. But on paper, if you've got these sort of players like an Alvarez, he's a step in the right direction to start challenging. Because he's already got that Premier League experience. He's been around winners. He's won the treble, bruv. He's won everything, pretty much. And how old is he? 22, 23? So
24.
I think 24. There we go. So I think this project, yeah, is very, very attractive. Very, very easy to sell to a player like Alvarez. I don't see him going to the likes of PSG or the likes of Atletico Madrid over us right now. I really don't see it, man.
And listen, this is all per perspective, right? But for me, I don't think he's looking at Chelsea as like, oh, this is the project, all that. He just really wants to play striker. Like last year, he started 31 games. So when people say he's not getting minutes, no, he's playing a lot. Like he started 31 of their games, played 38, like damn near all the fucking games, right? So he's getting minutes. He just doesn't want to play. So the other attributes that we think he has, he can play on the wing, he can play cam, he can play this. He don't want to do that. Otherwise, he'll stay at City because he's playing a lot, right? So that's the interesting part of how we work with the other guys like Jackson. What happens with Jackson? Maybe Jackson shift to the wing. What happens with Nkunku in that sense? So it's going to be interesting to see how we fit everybody, all in one. I think getting talent is always good. I don't mind getting talent. He's a very talented player. So bring him in. You know what I mean? So, but I think it still raises more questions than it gives us answers.
Yeah, AJ, what's your thoughts? I mean, the one thing I would say about this video is there's just a lot of variation in his game, the finishing, the left and right, the passing, the creating, the running in behind. What I like about him the most, for me, the big thing for me with him is he's comfortable in front of goal. Like, he's got that ability to do stuff like that. But he's also he just runs into space so well. He knows where to find space, you know.
Jem, he doesn't hesitate. He doesn't hesitate in front of goal. Like,
He plays
bro,
very fast.
this is why I'm not turning my nose up at him, because I've got PTSD and I can visualize literally 90% of the chances that the likes of Jackson were missing last season. Yeah, and I can think of Alvarez in those exact same positions. Because don't get twisted, people. We will continue to create chances. We've got too many technical players to not be creating the chances that we were. And one thing that I like about Cole Palmer is he creates clear-cut chances. I don't know if you lot have seen that video, 4.5 minutes, the compilation. Yeah, it's not just of Cole Palmer, it's of our missed chances. 4 minutes of that video is Cole Palmer just creating some crazy chances that I'm looking at and thinking, bruv, anyone that's half decent in front of goal is gonna bury them. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm looking at Alvarez and saying, yo, if he's getting those sort of chances that Jackson's getting, he is not missing them, bro. People will say, but he missed some chances last season, bro. If you go watch Watkins, Haaland every single week, these men miss some howlers at times as well. All strikers do it, but keep creating for these guys, and they will bag. They will bag. That's the main thing. We need someone that can actually finish. That's another thing that people are forgetting. Yes, he might not be the physical guy, but at least he can take his chances, bro, and he can link up well.
Well, no, like, listen, I like Jackson. I like Jackson a lot. I thought his season was up and down, but I thought overall I liked what I saw of him going forward. Like, I think there's a lot to build on there with him. He left a very generous 10 goals out there on the pitch this year, if I'm being honest, that he could have easily made. I mean, and I'm not talking about like tough goals. I'm talking like he left an easy 10 makeable goals. But
Josh, he could have scored at least 5 against Spurs. Put it that way.
Sure.
He could have scored at least 5 against Spurs, but we played them away.
And I think he'll learn from that and grow, and that's good. That's all good stuff too. But if you're telling me I can upgrade, or if now I have him playing with some competition, he had no competition this year at all. Don't get it twisted. We had no second striker at all. David Washington was our bench striker for 90% of the year, so he had no competition at that position. So bringing in somebody to push each other is absolutely has to happen. So it'd be great. Dan's right. We don't know if this is going to happen. I would love it to happen, but to me, the greatest thing would be to get Alvarez, and then in a year, Haaland decides he's leaving, which he will do, and now City have no striker. So that would be incredible. Did Jem leave?
Yeah,
I don't know what's happening to Jem, man. AJ, what are you saying, man? Because you was on my channel yesterday. Big yourself up for that as well, bro. Yeah.
yes, sir.
What are you saying about Alvarez, bro? Do you think is the answer for what we need to kick on, man?
Like I said on your channel yesterday, this guy, he's clearly levels above Jackson. He's levels above all of our strikers. You know, the IQ is insane. The finishing is insane. The movement is great. You know, he's used to being in a winning team, top team, so that he brings that as well. He knows Enzo. You know, there's a lot of positive. He knows the coach that's coming, the manager. So there's a lot of positives. You know, I could see why this has come about. But again, like I said on your stream yesterday, the only thing is, do we need this profile of striker again to add to what we have already? You know, we still don't have a plan B, bigger physical type of striker. But I thought about it a little bit more, and this could really take us to another level. You know, we need somebody who could put the ball in the back of the net, and if we could actually get this, you know, this could trump us needing a plan B striker for right now. Maybe we could change the plans a little bit. You know, maybe we could still get something in the winter or something like that. But you know, if an opportunity like this, especially with Chelsea, you know, a lot of times, you know, they'll go for it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we buy this guy, you know, this summer. I really wouldn't be surprised. This is a Chelsea type of signing. The only other thing is, what if another top team comes in and they have Champions League to offer? You know, like I know they linked PSG. You know, I don't. PSG isn't the best club to me, but at the same time, these guys from South America, like you said, you know, PSG offers a lot of money, and then they offer a decent sized platform as well. So PSG is definitely going to be an option for him, you know.
AJ, I'll be honest. I don't think this is going to be like a bidding type of move for Alvarez if he leaves. I think if he leaves, he's going to know exactly where he's going, and it's good that will be the team that he tells City to negotiate with. I'm not. I don't think it's going to be something where like, oh, now Chelsea bid for him, so now other teams are going to bid for him. If Chelsea bid for him, it will be because Alvarez told City, I want to go to Chelsea. I don't think this is going to be a thing where like now PSG are in and Liverpool throw a bid. Like, no, it doesn't feel like that kind of transfer to me. It feels more of like a business transaction. Like, I'm going to Chelsea, deal with Chelsea, and then Frazier, it might cost 80 million, but I don't care. You guys already have limitless money. I don't care about giving you an extra 80 mil. You can use it for your legal fees.
But that's us assuming
he'll be chatting to Enzo right now as well. They're together right now, and they're
100%.
like you said, they played together
all day, Don.
You're right. Those things play a part. Those things definitely play a part. But that's us assuming that he's saying, yeah, I want to leave and I want to go to Chelsea. You know, again, it's all leading that way, but he could also be saying something else, you know, because we still aren't in the best situation in terms of Europe and in terms of, you know, just optics and manager and all of that stuff. But again, he has friends in the club, you know, so that shit kind of trumps a lot of things sometimes.
The thing about Champions League football as well, like for me, go on, Dan.
Right? The only thing I would say to what you said is, if this is the guy, then let this be the guy, right? It shouldn't be, let's get him, then if we need another striker in a year or two or whatever, because you're going to spend big money on this guy. It's going to be at least 80, 90 million for City to let him go, right? Make that decision based on that. And, you know, if he's the right fit, like he should be the right fit for the club, even if Enzo is not here. I'm not talking about Enzo Maresca. I'm talking about Fernandez, right? Like if your friends aren't here, if the manager's not here, you should still be a good striker for the club and still work for the club, because you never know what happens. Maresca could get fired in a fucking year. You know what I mean? Like, so that's how I'm thinking about it. Is how is your overall fit? Because in my opinion, I think he's a very, very similar player to Nkunku, right? And I think Nkunku is better than him. That's just my opinion. I think Nkunku is far better than him. But Nkunku hasn't been fit. So that is, you know, that's why I don't mind bringing him in. I just don't see him as like a lone striker. That's my only. That's what I'm trying to like.
I could kind of agree with
fix
you.
My mind around this. I just don't see him as like the main guy. I see him as a second striker. And in my opinion, we have a better second striker already in the team. He just hasn't been fit.
Like is he would you say he's in an Aguero type, or is he like?
No, Aguero was a main striker. Like, even though
that's what I'm saying. That's the question.
We used to see, but I'd say Aguero receiving the ball from 40 yards on his chest. Like he was a different guy.
Right? Yeah, but I would say Alvarez is more. I would say Alvarez is more comfortable playing with his back to his goal to goal though than Nkunku, in my opinion. I don't really like. Cool, he does need help around him to link up and whatnot, but he's gonna have that. Like I said, he's gonna have that of the players that we've got. So he's not gonna be up there isolated. I don't see that in Maresca's system, because I wasn't seeing Vardy isolated. I wasn't seeing the likes of Daka isolated.
I'm not suggesting the problem is him being isolated, right? It's like there's different looks that you get as center forward than you get being the floater, being able to find pockets and people can't track you and people can't find you, rather than it's like, yo, you got to stay up there and figure it out, right? It's a little bit different in that sense. That I haven't seen from him in like the Premier League, and I'm like, I like his talent. I think he's a fantastic player, so bring him in. But I just think we have to be honest about what we think the fit is going to be, or how we think it's going to work, because we've never really seen him do that in the Premier League yet. He's always played with a guy like Haaland, always, right? So Haaland requires your center backs to watch him all the time. You know what I mean? You have to watch Haaland. So when you're watching Haaland, I'm ghosting in. You can't track my movements. But when you're the guy that I'm watching 100% now, it might be a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Dan, the one thing about Haaland though is that you know where he's going to be, right? So you do have to watch him as a center back, but you know exactly where he's going to be.
But what I mean is that you can't leave him, right? You might know where he's going to be, but you have to be on him at all times. Otherwise, he's going to do something crazy. So
I agree. But
let me ask you a question, Dan. Yeah, let me ask you a question, Dan. If you had to pick between the two, so between Sesko and Alvarez, who do you see getting marked out of more games?
Sesko.
And why is that?
I mean, he's just a lot more raw.
Just the
He's
movement.
a lot more raw.
first of
He's a
all.
lot more raw,
Mhm.
and he's more dependent on obviously the rest of his team to feed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
That's the
where.
biggest difference, right? But also, he's
Mhm.
also a lot more used to having two center backs on him at all times because he's been in that
Mm.
role for a long time. So he's used to
Mm.
that. He's used to getting kicked around, pushed around, being the focal point. Not touching the ball for so long and not getting mad about it, right? There's different things
Yeah.
that you have to do as center forward. Where, listen, we're playing Enzo and Caicedo are touching the ball, Palmer's touching it, blah blah blah. You might not touch it. You might have to just stand there for 2 whole minutes and not touch the ball.
Yeah,
Can you do that,
Dan,
right?
that's where his versatility comes into play, though, right? Is that now you can, if you do feel like he's stagnant in the middle, now you can do different things with him to get him on the ball. You can link with him, you can drop him deeper, you can put him wide, you can do a lot of things with him that you couldn't do with, say, maybe a Sesko or a Holland type. Like there's ways you can get him involved in the game because of his versatility and his abilities to do different things.
If we're playing against a low block, though, and obviously Alvarez is used to playing against that, but there's still going to be times where the low block is kind of conquering what we're doing. And what are we going to do? We're going to bring in Jackson. It's the same type of player. Like that's my thing is we need something else. We need a different type of option because if the Alvarez thing isn't working in a specific 90, we can't bring on the same type of player.
Yeah, but that's where. That's where I think, Jem, just a quick one. That's where I think, Jackson off the bench, coming on for an Alvarez against tired legs in a low block, for example, I think will be good, bro. Because Jackson's is a headache. Look what he did against Saliba and Gabriel, bro.
He don't also have to come off the bench to play. He could play Jackson off the left if Nkunku and play Jackson. But in game, Jackson might be the furthest player forward still.
But that's not addressing my issue.
My thing is that I don't want Jackson furthest players forward at all. You missed.
Did you want Alvarez or not? I was trying to understand quickly because I wasn't here. Did you want Alvarez or not?
Do I want him? That's a tough question. I do think I think he's a good player. I think he would definitely elevate our striker situation. But me, I like to view things like as a whole, and I just don't know how with Jackson. And I'm saying this with Jackson, in mind. Jackson is there. He's done what he's done. He does what he does. If that type of play style isn't working because it's kind of similar to what Alvarez is bringing, other than the finishing. The finishing is what separates it, and that could change the whole conversation, But I still think just as a team, we need a different type of striker.
Okay, so you want more. You're saying maybe more like a Sesko type, someone that will do a bit more
something like that.
Aerially hold the ball well, invite people on, players can run off him. He can then also be a presence in the box and maybe take, if he's on the end of things, put it in the back of the net sort of thing. Now, this is the thing. I'm not sold on Alvarez, by the way. I'm being quite honest with you. I'm not fully sold on it. But what I keep saying is I want the manager to make the right decision based on his profile of what he needs to play in his system. It has to get us on. They're two different types of profiles. So what do you want to do to get the best out of your system and how you want to do things? Because if it is versatility, then it's Alvarez. But if it's someone that's going to hold the ball and do a bit of the Giroud work and invite people in and, be a striker and focus on being creative.
Target man type.
What people tend to do these days, because we're linked to Alvarez, they'll try and slander him as if he's a bad player to try and raise up Sesko because they want Sesko. For me, I don't look at it like that because I think that they both would be good signings, in my opinion. I think the main thing for me is that they bring different dynamics to the game. And I spoke about this with I spoke about this with Conor Gallagher and Enzo this season because people were like, oh yeah, but Gallagher, he helps you press and whatnot. I said, Gallagher helps us press from the front, yes. But if you're playing Enzo in that role, because everyone kept saying how we're winning these games because Enzo's not in the team. I said I don't agree with that notion, because for me, with Conor Gallagher, when we get on the ball, he breaks down a lot of our attacks. We might look better in terms of pressing from the front, but when he's on the ball, the ability is not the same. With Enzo, you're gonna have less chances breaking down because he's better on the ball. So he brings a different dynamic to the team. And that's how I look at it with Alvarez. There's certain things that Alvarez does that Sesko can't do. And there's certain attributes that I like in a Sesko that Alvarez hasn't got. But I'm just saying, when people are like completely adamant against Alvarez, I'm like, brother, how are you turning your nose up against a guy that basically starts for all the teams in the Prem pretty much, bro. Yeah, and he would definitely work with the sort of profile players that we've got. Yeah, he's not the perfect build. Yeah, he's not the perfect build, but I can see him working for sure, bro.
Well, Jem, too, when you talk about like the fit, the Maresca fit, right? Like if this is sort of a Maresca opinion or idea, it does give you maybe a small, at least me, a small idea of what he does maybe want to do, which is more of maybe a team attack, right? Because Alvarez, to me, he allows you to attack more as an entire front four because he's able to run channels, to run wide, to run centrally. And now you've got guys like Olise, Palmer, and Cuckoo, guys who can all score and assist as well. Like these guys, now you've got more of a team build up and attack, and I think maybe that gives me maybe an idea of more what he wants to do going forward.
I hear that, and I'm really intrigued about, and I was so intrigued when the news come out about him because I wanted to see what the fan base's response was because you're getting a bit of a mixed view. It wasn't, oh my God, Alvarez, oh my, like everyone's getting excited about it. It's more of a, we know he's good. I'm just talking about others. We know he's good, but does he actually suit what we're trying to do and what we need up front? And that's the question.
No one knows that.
No one knows
that's
that.
The question. That's the one question nobody can answer yet. So.
One thing we need to consider, though, and I don't think we've got, I don't think we've got into the weeds of it, is like the actual way that Maresca plays and like the type of striker, like, or not the type of striker, but the amount of times the striker is getting the ball. I've seen this stat going around over the past week that the striker doesn't really get too involved in Maresca's play style. And I think, isn't Alvarez, wouldn't you say he's somebody who kind of needs the ball at his feet a little bit more than the type of striker that Leicester's been using? Because they're saying that the striker is only getting like around 20 touches a game. I don't know if it's going to be different for us, but Alvarez, you see with somebody moving like that, he's somebody who's looking for the ball. He's also looking to open up space, but he wants to have the ball at his feet. So it's like, is that the type of striker that works in that system? And then bringing that to the Premier League where you're playing taller defenders, there's less space than in the Championship. Is that going to work? Do we need a presence to combat that?
Has Maresca used a presence in his previous formations? That's the other question. He's had Vardy, Patson, Daka. These are people you could probably say are not really your typical number nines, like a Sesko, for example, who will hold the ball up and do all of that. But doesn't mean that he doesn't want a Sesko. But when you look at that type of striker, it feels and seems like in the past, what we've seen, he likes to have someone that's a bit more mobile, that can be a bit more versatile, in his play, and it doesn't involve always winning. And I don't think he's bad in the air, like Don says. I don't think he's atrocious in the air, to be quite honest with you. I just don't think he's your typical big number 9. He's what he reminds me more of is someone like an Aguero, that sort of type of striker, someone that can drop in deep, carry the ball, and and I don't mind it because I've always kind of wanted like an Aguero type at Chelsea, but it's just, does it, will we get the best out of it, and will it suit what Maresca wants to do? That's the question. But yeah, it is what it is. We'll have to see if we get any more interest into that. We know Cisco's another one that's been spoken about a lot as well. I think when you look at the options, they're two different types. It's going to be intriguing to see even if it is them two, or if another one comes on the table that we're interested in. I'm sure there's a lot of variation. This does scream Joe Shields as well, Alvarez. It does scream Joe Shields. I'm not going to lie. But we'll have to see what happens, man. We'll have to see what happens, innit? The goalkeeping side of things, there was talks about, what's his name? Bolka, is it, coming back potentially today to Chelsea. I don't think we're going to be looking at goalkeepers if we're keeping Petrovic and Sanchez, but that could change again in the next couple of weeks, so we'll have to wait and see. The wingers, the Olise kind of stuff, we're waiting to see whether Chelsea have put a formal offer in yet with Olise. We've not had any news as of yet with that. It's a tricky one because I do think we're going to get a striker 100%, but I also do think we might sign. We are going to get a winger. I've got a feeling. So
yeah,
I
have a question.
Yeah.
So Maresca, because our last season under Poch, we were playing 4-2-3-1, so we kind of had 3 attackers behind the striker. But it doesn't seem like Maresca plays that. It seems like he's more with 3 midfielders. So if we're signing Olise, we got Palmer, we got Madueke, we got Mudryk and Sterling on the other side. Somebody's going to be missing out like a lot of the time.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. Did we sign somebody like Olise?
Well, AJ, you know who had an absolute stink fest when we played Leicester, right? Mr. Raheem himself. He had an absolute stink fest that game, bro. Yeah, he needs to go Saudi, bro. He needs to go Saudi. That's what
he might benefit from a Maresca system, though. You know, he might benefit from a Maresca system. You just don't know.
Off the bench, please. Off the bench, please. Thank you.
Yeah, super sub and keep him off the ball, and then we're good.
The only thing I would say about him is I do think that when it comes to running in behind him and being that last man and then receiving and him driving in, I think he's better than most of what we have in doing that.
Yeah, Jem.
Jem. Until he's got to get in front of goal like he did against.
Yeah, then obviously he made that
Aston Villa, and he's just kicking it straight at the keeper. If you're gonna shoot in those positions, I beg you score. Don't piss me off and miss those chances, and then we end up dropping points. And you're one of the most experienced players. You're earning the most in the team, and you've got the cheek to miss right in front of goal like that. You know what I'm saying? So listen, I'd rather still move him on. I'll be real, because I'd rather give opportunities to the likes of Mudryk and whatnot, who need to develop. You know, Sterling's he's done everything that he needs to do. You know, he's older on the ends right now, and he's around young G's. It's time to move on, bro.
To be fair, Don, right? We haven't had a good system or manager in how many years now, right? And that's all he's played under. We know
that's like a decade, man.
No, I'm talking about since Tuchel.
I agree with
right?
that.
Yeah, but Dan, even that, Dan, what was that, like one good year of Tuchel? I mean, I think you amongst others hated Tuchel after the first season. So again, it was like one good year of Tuchel.
Expectation for him was, my expectation for him was obviously like we got to challenge for the title. We never did, so that was trash. But
Dan, I've got no more patience for a guy that plays like an 18-year-old at times. Yeah, we get onto the likes of Mudryk, who look like grenade football a lot of the times. That's what Sterling looks like, bro. I haven't got patience for a guy that's earning the most money. Like I said, he's selfish in front of goal. Yeah, I haven't got patience for a guy that at times looks like he can't even be bothered to play. Off the ball, he's terrible. You know, he's not trying to track back. Nah, bro, I've got no time for that, because I just feel like there's certain traits in him, that I don't like, and I just feel like I just not right for what we're trying to do going forward. You know, similar to like Gallagher, where Gallagher just doesn't fit what we're trying to do. I don't look at Sterling and think, I want to prioritize him. I'd rather give the minutes to someone else off the bench. Yeah. I think Sterling can do a job off the bench, but I'd rather give those minutes to someone else in the same breath, if that makes sense.
I think he's a really good. I think as a super sub towards the end of the year, he was doing a pretty good job coming off the bench and being threatening. But you can't be paying $300K for 10 minutes a game.
A bench player.
You know, and I like Sterling. He's very frustrating because he does have a ton of talents, but my God, he dribbles with his head down.
I'm with you guys. I just don't think he's leaving. You know what I mean? Like I just think he's in London. He's won everything. He's
not giving up that.
I'm hoping with a new manager who has a system that is very similar to what he's been used to for most of his career. It'll get something a little bit better from him. Like it'll get
I agree.
More, like if he's on the end of like we play firecracker football.
I do agree
right
that as
now,
well,
right?
to be fair.
Right now we play firecracker football, which is like we did play firecracker football, which is get to the front as quickly as possible, get it to the wingers as quickly as possible, and see what happens. Well, you know, he did a lot of bozo shit. Let's be honest, a lot of bozo things. Hopefully that changes when the system's a little bit slower, a little more what he's used to, and all he has to worry about is that back cut finish.
Yes, that's it.
He has got a knack though for me to always like when we need a goal, we just turn up and bang one, and then we're back in the I remember the game at Oma, where he come on and just buried one into the. He likes cutting inside and then just turn it into the top corner. Like he's got that way of like where he can just do that though. You know, that's the thing.
This is the thing, Jem. Like, I agree with everything Dan said. He's still not a starter for me, though. And so in that scenario, that's a lot of money for a bench guy. And if you can find, if he is willing, if there's an option at some point, I do think you have to try to. But, I mean, I agree with everything you said, but he doesn't start for me over in Cuckoo if Nkuku's healthy. Like, you know, so like you're paying so much money for maybe 10 minutes of a sub appearance and, you know, the occasional cup start.
Then it goes back to competition in the squad, and I'm like, I want squad depth. So it's like,
right. No, I agree. I agree with that too. You know, people pushing people is always good for the squad. I agree.
getting rid, and then because we buy one, it just keep the same level of numbers. If we've got an additional quality available, remember we've got these crap competitions to play in as well. Probably next season, you just play them in that. Let them start them games and just fucking score. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like just utilize your squad a bit more and use rotation, and don't try and look after your injury side of things. Reece James, Gusto, Enzo, whoever it is that we and Nkunku, these guys that have struggled with injuries, Lavia, if they're going to come back in, like utilize your squad. So by utilizing your squad, if it means keeping like a couple of players and maybe it looks like we're semi-packed there, just do it. Especially now we're going to be playing more games this season than we did last. You know what I mean?
I will say it's been ridiculously refreshing to see guys like Lavia and Fofana in their off seasons this year, like putting in work. These guys are working their asses off right now. Both of those guys, they're not like out on a boat with their legs up. They're both grinding right now to get healthy and get fit for the season. So I appreciate that from both those guys. It's just a positive thing to see in the off season. Some guys who have missed time like they have, you could see them off on a beach somewhere right now, but they're both putting in work and grinding. So good on both those guys. I'd like to see, obviously Lavia is going to be a massive piece next year if he can stay healthy. So
if the manager can get something out of Sterling, then I do think, that will take us to another level, because, if Sterling is on form, he could easily get 10, 15, even 20 goals, So, and that's something that we need, we need goals in this team. We need more goals. He's experienced. We've been asking for experience. At least I'm one of the persons who's asking for experience. He's supposed to provide that, but he's not that type of guy really. But if he could provide goals on the field, and moments on the field and consistency, then it will help us out, because again, we know Mudryk, he's an unknown quantity. We don't know what we're going to get from him. Again, he's working on his game this summer. I've seen a couple clips, so we'll see what he comes back with. But that left wing is still not sure. We have Cole Palmer on the right, Madueke on the right, and we're looking at Elise who plays in the center on the right. So the left side is still not sure. We don't know what's going to happen on that left side. And one of those right wingers might end up playing on the left side. Don't be surprised if you see that.
Left competing with Jackson. No, at least he's built for the left competing with Jackson. No, off the right, bro. Off the right, G.
The combo starts.
Off the right, G. At least they will come in to compete with Madueke. Jackson will give you versatility because he can come in if Nkunku's not fit to play on the left. Mudryk will be there. You got up front, you're going to have Jackson and whoever. There's got to be another one, so they're going to be rotated. And then you look at the middle. Palmer can play across that area as well. Anywhere, right, middle, wherever you really want him to play, he's effective. Like the one thing I would say, we've got a lot of versatility, man. Just a lot of versatility. Like we seem to have a lot of options, like for covering spaces and being able to implement. But it's just going to be interesting because I really just want to see the first game of Chelsea under Maresca. I'm looking forward to it. I just want to see what he's going to how he's going to set us up and what he's going to try and get us to do and how we're going to play in that. That's what we really need. But at the same time, the one of the things I read on Twitter as well is that we want to make sure that whoever we're going to bring in, we want to do our job early. We're not going to be leaving things last minute. Apparently, they want to have a squad ready for pre-season so that when he's ready to have his pre-season and go on, the squad is available and ready. So let's see whether we get some early signings in the door and signatures to do that. But the Euros is also a factor as well on Copa America, because that goes on for a month going into the midst of July it will finish. So depending how far they get, and then they've got to have a break as well because they wouldn't have had a break, which is going to be another 2 weeks. So they're probably not going to be coming back till August, which means they're probably going to miss parts of pre-season before. And then we start.
What do we have? 5 players in the Euros or 4 players in the Euros? You got Palmer and Gallagher, which you can count Gallagher if you want or not, but you got Mudryk and then I guess Cucurella. It's
Cucurella.
And then there's one other. There's one more. Enzo and Caicedo are in the Copa.
Enzo Caicedo in the Copa America, yeah. So
everybody else, I believe, is going to be good to go because.
Okay.
Chile didn't make the roster, did he?
No, chilling. I said chilling. They're all chilling on the holidays and that. Yeah. So that means, Petrovic is there as well, is it? Yeah. So and then you've got Elise. If you sign someone like Elise,
Elise says, but he's doing the French? Is he doing the Olympics for them?
I don't even know. That's a good question. I don't actually know.
I think Olise is doing the Olympics for France, but we basically blocked all of our guys from the Olympics, so that's another positive for us as well. I mean, most of these guys should be fit.
It just depends how far they get with their. It just depends how far they get with their countries, and then on that they'll have a little break, and then they'll be back. So let's just see. Yeah. Fingers crossed, no injuries, man. Please, no injuries through these periods. We can't be having any injuries to anyone. Just please let them be strong and rest. We've had a injury out of the worst injury record in the Premier League last season compared to other clubs. Like, please give us something this season, man. We don't want to be going down that route again.
It's been the past like 3 seasons. It's not only been last season.
Yeah, it's last 3 seasons. Same sort of players reoccurring injuries and that. So watch Fofana. He'll come back and he'll start the first game and he'll just start the hub. Listen, if he gets injured again this season, we've got to sell him. I'm sorry, I can't be dealing with this Fofana guy anymore. If he's not,
I say if they bid for him this season, we sell him right now this summer.
I wouldn't argue about it. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't say no.
Nah. Hey, listen, we gotta we gotta give my boy. Bro, listen, I'm telling you, bro. Enzo Maresca he might be Jesus, Gem, because he kept Justin and Pereira fit all season. Yeah, everyone in the chat, type in Ricardo Pereira. Type in James Justin and go look at their injury record. In fact, Jem, bring it up on the screen. Yeah, these man keeping them guys fit all season is the equivalent of keeping Fofana and Reece James fit all season. James Justin and Ricardo Pereira. Yeah, check their injury record. They did not get one injury last season. Not one between them, bro.
I'm telling you right now, dude, there is a certified animal inside Fofana. If he can stay healthy, I think that the ceiling level in that kid is really high. I love Fofana's game. I really want him to be healthy this year because I think there's a really special player.
Remember when he came on? Remember when he came on against Tottenham? Yeah. I think Thiago Silva had to come off injured, and he had an absolute bro. He was one of the better players that day, even though we lost the game. Yeah, for
James Justin's all right. To be fair, he had the 22-23 injury, 30 games missed. That was before this season, so he hasn't been injured. Like, he's been all right.
He had a big injury though. He had a big injury, bro. Look at that. He had he was an Achilles tendon rupture, right? Before he started to play again. Now look at Ricardo Pereira.
Have a look at Pereira as well. Ricardo Pereira.
Good squad depth goes a long way to helping people stay fit too. That you can't underestimate. We had no squad. I mean, we had no squad depth this year. Really,
This is yuck. But to be fair, he hasn't been injured since 22-23 as well. Oh, this guy's.
He was the season they got relegated. He was out all season, bro. Pretty
22-23, so the season before as well. So he has got. It does show maybe that Maresca's tactical noose of just finding your positions well rather than running up and down the pitch at 400 miles an hour for 90 minutes, like Poch, could be. Be the difference,
bro.
You know?
I think it will, bro, because like I said, I've said this a million times, bro. Arsenal and Man City had the least amount of injuries, or close to the least amount of injuries last season. I think they both had like 22 separate injuries each. We had about 50 something, right? And that's because they don't play ping pong football. So he's gonna go a long way. And like Josh has said as well, we've actually got options off the bench, like certain games against the likes of. I don't know who's been promoted now. Ipswich, for example. Yeah, you might not need to play starting Cuckoo that game. You might start Mudryk in that game. Then you bring in Cuckoo off the bench. But then when you're playing the tougher oppositions, that's when you start your strongest 11. It gives us that flexibility as well. You know what I mean? And in the cup games as well, bro. I'm trying to go to Wembley again, man.
Yeah, well,
we need to win something, man. The ops is trolling us now.
We're gonna win the Premier League before Arsenal.
Trolling us, man.
Can you imagine if we win the Premier League before Arsenal, though? After all this trying, and we come in like, sit down, we're here now.
That would be lovely.
Bro, that would be amazing.
We already have one trophy, Conference League. We have to win that, so you know.
That's what pisses me off, though, man, because we could have fucking won the Carabao Cup. Liverpool could have left with nothing, basically, and then we could have left with something, and then Arsenal finished with nothing again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Guys, big up to every single one of you. 375 people all the way through today. Nearly 400 people in the building. Make sure you go and follow Don, guys. He's going live at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Oh, no, bro. I'm too busy with work. I think I'll probably
he's not live, guys, but he might be live. But follow his channel there, Don CFC. Go and check him out on YouTube. Follow AJ on TikTok, man. That's AJ's TikTok is good as well. Go and check him out on NY Chelsea Blues, guys. Go and see that as well. And we will be back with any news breaks. We'll be back. Elise, Alvarez, Sesko, you name it. We will be there, guys. We will be there. It's been a good show, good chat. Take care of yourselves. If I don't see you, enjoy your weekends. And we'll see you guys soon.
Big up,
Let's go.
Love.